Hey everybody, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today we are going to go through the top 10 things I wish I knew when I started strength training, and I'm going to share them with you. I feel like when you start lifting weights, you learn a lot from like maybe people around you in the gym or watching people online or maybe just like your own trial and error. So to help save you from some of that trial and error today, I'm going to break down my top 10 tips and tricks to help you navigate the gym better. In case this is your first time here, hello, my name is Justina. I am a personal trainer based out of New York City who believes that everybody deserves the basic education on how their body works. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I am trying to hit 100K by the end of the year, so every little bit helps. But with that, let's dive into the first tip in the gym. Starting off with a big one, if you're constantly white-knuckling your dumbbells, your grip is going to be the limiting factor of your lifts pretty quickly. Instead, I want you to think of choking up on the bells and relaxing your grip. This will help you stay in the lift longer and focus more on what's actually doing the work. You know what a cable machine, the little like 2.5 or 5 pound add-ons, whatever they're called? Yeah, sometimes gyms just don't have those. Or maybe you just can't find the one that you need in the moment. This is when small dumbbells or little plates come into play. Sliding one of these in is a fantastic option when you're trying to slowly graduate from one load to the next. While there's a lot of different tools out there to help with your grip, like straps or gloves, I actually find that chalk is one of the best tools out there. I'm personally not the biggest fan of gloves, mostly because I don't want to carry them around, and lifting straps end up being pretty complicated in my opinion, but something that's super easy to bring along or find in most gyms is chalk. I'm partial to liquid chalk since it's not as messy, but any option will get the job done here. Chalk will basically help absorb the extra moisture in your hands, and liquid chalk is going to give you more of a tacky grip to help under heavy loads. And I've left my favorite brand down below in case you want to try it out yourself. Calling all fellow short people. Step-ups are one of the hardest things for me to do in the gym simply because I have a hard time finding the right height bench since typically they're a little too tall for me. But by adding a plate underneath, you can actually bring the floor up to you. The trick in finding the perfect height is using something that doesn't hike your hip up or require the use of momentum from the bottom leg. Similar to the first tip, but I find this more specific to kettlebells, is to let your thumbs go. If you're constantly gripping with that thumb, you're going to recruit a lot more of the forearm than you probably want. Once you let the thumb go in something like a bent over row or even like a lat pull down, you're going to be able to feel your back or your prime movers way more heavily than your grip. All right, when I first started training, I was chasing new workouts every single time, and I thought variety would keep my muscles confused to prevent plateaus, when in reality, I wasn't giving my body enough repetition to actually adapt. The reason that most solid training programs repeat exercises for 4 to 8 weeks is because your body needs enough stimulus to break down and then build up the adaptation that you're looking for. Novelty is definitely fun, but we need to remember that random workouts get random results. We often think of a chest press as an upper body exercise, which it absolutely is, but that doesn't mean that your lower half should go slack while you're pressing weight. Think of it this way. A deadlift is a lower body exercise, but you don't let your back round forward and your arms turn into noodles during it. So instead of just laying on the bench during a chest press, I want you to try driving your feet into the floor and engaging your glutes as you drive the bar or the bells up to the ceiling. I promise you'll feel more supported and maybe even be able to lift a little more load. may get pushback from this one, but hear me out. Exercise order isn't everything. Obviously, there's a few things you want to keep in place, but for most people, exercise order isn't nearly as important as simply just getting everything done. For instance, if you have lat pull downs programmed, but your machine is taken, maybe you just move on to your next block and come back rather than waiting 10 minutes or skipping it altogether. I'd say the only things that are pretty immovable are going to be your warm up. And then if you have like one huge lift, like a deadlift or a squat, or maybe like a standalone skill-based type of movement, that's one of your main focuses. The reason for that is simply because these are going to take a huge toll on your nervous system, so you want as much energy as possible to perform those well. But all of the accessory stuff, in my opinion, is pretty interchangeable. When you hear lateral raise, your first instinct is more than likely to bring your arms straight out to the side, but we actually don't want our arms fully lateral. Instead, we want to work on the scapular plane. This is the line directly in front of our shoulders, and this is a much better position to perform something like a lateral raise in, simply because you're going to feel a lot better in your shoulders and you're going to get more support from your back. And my final tip is actually my favorite. The basics are your besties. Squat, hinge, push, pull, rotate. The basics will never go out of style. And the fun part is there are so many different variations of the basics between single leg options, different angles, different tempos. You can and probably should play with the basics forever. And with some solid programming, they will keep you entertained and getting gains. If there's a specific tip that you have found really helpful in the gym, please leave it down in the comments below. Again, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos, and I will see you all in the next one.